Hey everybody, I want to do a video today about I am readjusting my prepping plan, and because most of you guys know I'm always said I'm bugging in, no matter what I'm gonna bug in, but we're gonna have to bug out. I mean, there's no if and buts about it. Something's gonna happen where we're gonna have to bug out, and to be honest, I have been focused on bugging in. 90% of my focus was on bugging in, and like 10% was on bugging out. But I have been watching some documentaries on like the Amazon tribes and people in Asia, like in Laos and Cambodia and Vietnam, stuff like that, where they have next to nothing, and the way they trap and they hunt and they fish and they cook with next to nothing. And I'm thinking, here I am sitting with stuff that they only dream or imagine about, and they got next to nothing, and they're thriving in their community. Another one is the Pacific Islanders, how they do it. Small communities, they go out and they fish, and it's mind blowing how people like that can survive, and modern day people like us gripe, bitch, whine, and moan when a storm rolls through and it knocks power out for a couple hours. But I'm refocusing, because we anything happens, we're probably going to have to bug out. We couldn't stay here, and our bug out area is about an hour and a half up in the deep mountains where I bear hunt and pig hunt. And if we had to walk it, it would probably take us 2 days to get there. So I'm readjusting. I'm and since I started doing that, boy, I am so unorganized because, like I said, I've got everything ready to bug in. And I started looking, and if I had to bug out, if I couldn't take my vehicle and just throw stuff in there, I'd be in trouble. So I got a couple of those two-wheel luggage carts. I started getting some buckets and bags, and I'm filling them for what we would need to carry. Then we got the garden wagon and stuff, but you just can't throw a bunch of gear and gadgets. You're going to have to really sit down and think, okay, if I leave here, we're going to have a strong shelter. We're going to have lights. We're going to have fire. We're going to have water purification. We're going to have food. I know you can't carry enough food with you, but you're going to have enough food to get by until you can start hunting and trapping or fishing, garden, or learn, the wild edibles around your area. And you're going to have ways to preserve food. I'm not talking about canning. I'm talking about if you shoot something, learn how to make a smokehouse, a cold smokehouse, so you can preserve the food, so you can hang it and you have it. There's a lot, if you really sit down and you talk to somebody, yeah, it's going to take a lot to have to make it. But if you really sit down and you start looking through your preps and what's really important, and you use your common sense, and you let your skills come into play, you could get by with what you got, carrying in a small portions. But most of us today, You know, I have seen videos where people saying, oh, you can't bug out, you can't carry enough stuff, you'll die, you won't make it. In a way I agree, in a way I don't agree, because, you know, with people with skill sets and who has really thought it out, and they had to bug out, yeah, you can make it. Now, people just grabbing stuff and throwing it, you know, in a panic, just grabbing stupid gadgets and gears and you know, items like that, no, they wouldn't last. Or for people who've lived in the city all their life and never been out in the mountains or the desert or the swamps and learned their area, or the, you know, in the mountains, and learned their areas, what the do's and the don'ts, they would die too. You know, we're always on the riverbank, lakes, um, mountains, woods, doing something, me and the boys. So, you know, we're not experts by any means, but we've got enough knowledge under our belt where we could do it. You know, and me going through gathering up stuff that's going to be, you know, items that's going to be useful and a not BS, you know, but actual things like, you know, your shelter. You're gonna have to need a roll of tie wire. You're gonna need cutters for the tie wire. You're going to need nails, a hammer. Now people say, well, you can use a hatchet. No, a hatchet is for cutting wood. A hammer is for nailing nails. Big difference there. But just stuff like chisels. You're going to need chisels in order to, you know, make the wood fit right, so it's a strong shelter. You know, just stuff like that. Um, it is a lot and to carry, but if you break it down, you can get along good with a minimum supply of stuff, because we get out here, we're going to have to scavenge and roam and try to find, you know, stuff to help us survive. But and that reminds me, you know, like I said, I've watched these documentaries, but also look at the American homeless. They have nothing, but they have enough common sense and knowledge to make them something to stay warm, in order, you know, when it's snowing and cold outside, they have enough common sense to go somewhere where it's warm. Or if it's blazing hot, they have enough common sense to get somewhere where there's a nice breeze blowing and where they can live and sleep comfortably without burning up. You know, and they use unwanted stuff from people to make their life easier. So in a SHTF situation, the homeless, the tribes in the Amazon and the Pacific Islanders, and these people over in Asia, like these fishermen and these farmers, it's not even going to bother them. They're not even going to realize we're in a SHTF situation. Only ones going to realize this is us modern folk who can't go to 7-Eleven and buy a pack of cigarettes or a 44-ounce soft drink, or can't go to Walmart to do their grocery shopping, or can't run over here to Lowe's to buy a saw blade. You know, or we can't get our vehicle cranked because an EMP happened, and oh, it's going to be, or get on our smartphone to check our messages, or to talk on our social media life. That's what a SHTF is going to affect, and it's going to devastate people. They're not going to be able to take it. They're going to kill themselves, because they're not used to not going out without running water or electricity or cell phone service or something like that. But I want to ask you guys something. Go to your prepping area and look at it and say, okay, I've got 15 minutes. We got to bug out. Can we grab enough stuff to be useful to help us long term? Or are you like me everything just piled up here and piled up there, and you would have to go through it. Okay, I need this and I need that and I need this and I need that, and then put it into a bucket or a tote and go. Do you have like buckets or totes already pre-made with several items of different items? I hope I said that right. That you can grab and it'll do you good on in long term if you had to bug out. Like I said, I am readjusting. It was like 90% bugging in, 10% bugging out. I'm going to do 50-50, 50% bugging in, 50% bugging out. And, you know, I'm going to get prepared because we're going to have to bug out. You know it's coming. You know, we all want to bug in. You know, I would love to stay here and sleep on my memory foam mattress besides going out sleeping on a hard ground or a little thin bedroll. Those things suck. Even if you put them on a raised bed, and a raised bed is nothing but round sticks, it's going to poke you in the back. That sucks. So yeah, it's going to suck if we have to bug out. But if we're prepared enough, just with a few buckets and totes and our bug out bag, we could probably do pretty good. You know, it's just getting over the mindset of leaving everything. That's going to be the hardest thing. Leaving our home, leaving our supplies, and just taking a little bit with us. But we might have to do that in order to survive, to live. Or get rounded up and thrown in a FEMA camp. That ain't happening with me and mine. So, just do me that favor. You know, just go and look at your supplies and say, if I had 10 to 15 minutes to grab what I could, would it be enough? Would it be the right supplies? And do it. And then time yourself and see, after the time, open the buckets or the totes and see what's actually in there. Do you have a way to build a shelter, a good strong shelter, and keep it repaired as time goes on? Do you have a way for a light source, you know, with candles or whatever, a good fire source, a good water, you know, purifying your water, a good cooking source? Now, I'm not talking, we're a family of 5. A little bitty camping kit, you know, cook kit is not going to work to make a good sized meal to keep us fed. So you're going to need the cast iron pots and pans and stuff like that in order to cook a good meal. So you're going to need a good cooking setup. A hunting, a fishing, a trapping, a snaring. You're going to have a lot of that compacted down into a small bag or bucket, but you're going to have enough in order to make it. Gardening, seeds, you know, so you can get out there and you can plant a garden and let it grow. Yeah, it might take 2 or 3 months for food to grow, and you have to live off of wild edibles, but you know, it just gets you thinking. You know, our forefathers done it, and I see these people on these documentaries. They don't got nothing. They, like I said, they would be overwhelmed if I took my stuff to their area and lived with them. Their mind would be blown with the stuff I have that makes my life easier, and they're just not used to it. They would laugh at me most likely, saying it's too much, you don't need all that. Because we're used to it. That's what we think we need. But in a SHTF situation, rules is going to change. A lot is going to change, and it's going to be survival. And again, yes, I would love to bug in, but there's going to come a time we have to bug out. So tell me what you guys think. Have you thought about this? You know, go to your supplies and, like I said, do the little exercise I suggested, and see what you come up with. Then you'll have to readjust like I did, because I done the same thing, and boy, I was, wow, it was bad. So now I'm readjusting. I'm packing certain items into certain buckets and having certain buckets ready to go. If I, like I tell the boys, I've already showed them, hey, if we have to go, you grab this and this and this and this, pack them up, and we're gone if we can't use the vehicle. And it's just another thing to help you get prepared and stay prepared and get your mind working. But tell me what you think, and let me know how it does. And if people out there with YouTube channels, do a little video on the exercise, because I love to see everybody's, before and after. But I'm gonna get off of here, and I hope everybody has a good day. We've got a little storm coming in. It's kind of cooled it down a little bit from the 90s. We're probably sitting in the low 80s now. I hear the thunder in the background, but I don't know if we're going to get any of the rain. But tell me what you think. I'm really interested in hearing your comments and your opinion on this one. And I hope everybody has a great day. Bye for now, guys.